Greetings, Rebel fans. My name is Jason Kelly. This is the Let's Run podcast. This is Let's Run Live. We are here today to laugh at the six pack, as they have been called. Today is a day to laugh at them and their failure. Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Oregon State, and Washington State took a big bet on themselves. They said, hey, we're going to create a new conference. We're going to become a new Power 5 conference. And they said, we're going to be able to negotiate a big media deal. And they were unable to entice any of the big players in the AAC to join them, including Memphis, Tulane, USF, and UTSA, which have all stated publicly that as of right now, they are committed to the AAC and will not be joining the six pack, the PAC 6. And so with the AAC schools rejecting the PAC 12, that opens up a lot of possibilities for UNLV, for the rest of the Mountain West. It gives the Mountain West a very strong negotiating position with the Pac-12. So with none of the AAC schools willing to join, that leaves essentially, I mean, if the Pac-12 wanted to try and add non-Mountain West schools, the limits, the options are incredibly limited at this point. You're looking at like Sacramento State, who would be coming up to the FBS level for the first year. You're looking at Liberty or James Madison, which again have the same geographic issues that Memphis and Tulane did. And so the Pac-12 doesn't really have a ton of options now. The Mountain West is kind of like Thanos, right? You know, where you could not live with your own failure. So where did that bring you? Back to me. The Mountain West was trying to play hardball with the Pac-12. They knew that both Washington State and Oregon State would likely try and pick off the top Mountain West teams. And so the Mountain West Conference put in big buyout numbers and kind of bet that, hey, you're going to just have to join the Mountain West, Washington State and Oregon State. Sorry. And Washington State and Oregon State tried to, subvert that by using the AAC to leverage those schools to get into the Pac-12. And they failed spectacularly. And so I would love to sit around and gloat about Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and Colorado State leaving the Mountain West and betting on themselves and then falling flat on their face because they weren't worth as much as they thought that they were. But there's too much going on at the moment to actually do that. So the Mountain West, very smartly too, has basically set a negotiating deadline for today. And I think it's today, actually. Maybe Gloria Nevarez with this news will extend that. But the Mountain West at this point wants the remaining schools, Air Force, UNLV in particular, to sign a long-term kind of, I don't know how long it would be, it'd probably be only about 5 years, but a long-term grant of rights, which would keep UNLV, Air Force, the remaining Mountain West schools in the conference. If you're aware with grant of rights deals, they will basically be, you can't get out of a grant of, there's no buyout for a grant of rights deal. As Florida State and Clemson are finding out in the ACC, if you sign a grant of rights media deal, you're stuck for however long that grant of rights lasts. And so the Mountain West is trying to get its remaining schools to sign a grant of rights media deal to basically lock them into the Mountain West at least until 2031, I believe is the time that I'm seeing, the time that I've seen reported. Again, I'm not a reporter ever. I don't have sources. All I do is aggregate from other sources that I read. I watch The Monty Show. I read Consano. I follow Yahoo Sports. I try and interpret them. But you never come to me for reporting. I am always just commentating. But the Mountain West is playing hardball. They're trying to get our schools to stay. And the Mountain West is offering financial incentives to, this has been reported, specifically to Air Force and UNLV, in an attempt to get them to commit long-term to the Mountain West Conference. Please leave some comments or something in the live stream. If you want anything said on the live stream, I will read your comments out. If it's a question, if it's a statement, um, please go ahead and comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. And so what happened here is a complete and utter win for the Mountain West Conference. The AAC schools, Tulane, Memphis, UTSA, USF, flatly rejecting the Pac-12 is just massive for the Mountain West. Um, why did those schools reject the Pac-12? Now, I've seen a lot of angry Tulane and Memphis fans complaining that they're going to be stuck in the mediocre AAC for forever. But the reason why they rejected that deal is all about money. The Pac-12 was trying to report that they would be able to get a $15 million, $10 to $15 million media rights deal. Sorry, I'm just okay. So that's a good point. So professional UNR hater, who is one of the leaders of the UNLV Burner Brigade, makes a great point here in that the Mountain West media deal. So it ends in 2026, the current Mountain West media deal. And so what the Mountain West would want our schools to do, UNLV, Air Force, is sign a deal that I would imagine would lead to 2031. You see media deals expiring around then in the other major conferences. And so Gloria Nevarez and the Mountain West Commissioner would certainly want to get UNLV, Air Force to sign 5-year deals, 5-year extensions with financial incentives. And so, and I think that deadline is today. So if UNLV is going to go to the Pac-12, if the Pac-12 is going to use the buyout money they were planning on using for the Pac-12 was planning on using buyout money for Memphis and Tulane specifically. However, the AAC played hardball with Memphis and Tulane. They said, "Hey, we had SMU leave a year ago. We made them pay a penalty, an exit fee of $25 million. We can negotiate because it's less than 2 years. We're allowed to negotiate your buyout." And so the AAC essentially just said, "Oh, I'm seeing. Okay, so we have another update." So Sperano says something about Gonzaga happened. I'm not sure what happened with Gonzaga yet. Anybody see the Gonzaga news? Somebody's reporting that something happened with Gonzaga, but I'm not sure. Gonzaga leaving the. Oh, whoa. Okay. Gonzaga is leaving the Mountain West, is leaving the West Coast Conference to join the Pac-12. Okay, that's huge. So the Pac-12 did get Gonzaga. That's a big deal. So Gonzaga is getting a full share of the Mountain West media deal without. Whoa. Okay, so Gonzaga is leaving for the West Coast Conference. A reminder: they do not have a basketball team, a football team. Sorry, but they are still going to get a full share of the media deal, basically making the Pac-12. Okay, that's a very good deal. That's a very good move for the Pac-12. That kind of redeems a little bit. So I've been clowning on the Pac-12 for I've been clowning on the Pac-12 for the last hour or so, ever since this news came out, and rightly so. I mean, they made big bets on themselves, and they failed. But over the next few hours, and I won't make this very long, I will go live again. Yeah, Gonzaga. Okay. Whoa. I apologize. I'm getting news real time. So Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 changes a lot. It makes it an incredibly strong basketball conference. You have an ascendant Boise State basketball team in conference. You have a incredibly strong San Diego State basketball team. San Diego State is kind of a limitless program in terms of their athletics. And so Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 means the dominoes are going to start falling. I would bet the rumors are that UNLV and Utah State were prime candidates for Pac-12 for the Pac-12. I would assume that we could see, especially if the Pac-12 is willing to at the very least give us the exact same terms that the Pac-4, the 4 Mountain West schools that left the Mountain West. If we could get the same buyout terms as them for the Pac-12, you could see UNLV announced to the Pac-12 in the next couple of hours. Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 changes a lot. That means that they're trying to build a premier basketball conference. And I think that adding UNLV to that conference would just make too much sense. Something that I've seen a lot of people say, and it kind of makes me laugh, is well, the Pac-12 doesn't need UNLV to utilize Las Vegas. We can still have our basketball tournaments there. We can still have everything we want there. And to a certain extent, that's true. I mean, I had been floating out the idea that UNLV, if they were not included in the Pac-12, would and if you guys are seeing updates, please put them in the chat so that or at least just respond to this tweet. So my question is, if the Pac-12 thinks that it can use Las Vegas without having UNLV, where are you guys playing your basketball tournament? I suppose you could, with Gonzaga being such a big brand, maybe the T-Mobile is actually financially feasible at this point, but that's a very busy season for the T-Mobile. And I know that the city of Las Vegas has been attempting to up its the amount of people that are living, are the conferences that are using T-Mobile during conference championship season. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Big Ten start using T-Mobile for its conference basketball tournament in the very near future. And so the Pac-12, like, sure, you want to have your basketball tournaments in Las Vegas, that's fine. If UNLV is not in the conference, you're not using the Thomas and Mack. The WCC, I believe, has a 10-year contract with the Orleans to host their conference tournament at the Orleans. Michelob Ultra Arena, I don't think that's an option for college basketball tournaments. I read an article stating that was not a place that you could do it. I guess you could do it at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, but again, when you're on the Strip, the prices are pretty exorbitant. And so Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 as a basketball-only school. And what's crazy is football, even at any level, football is the primary driver of revenue for college athletics. And Gonzaga joining the Pac-12, apparently from what I'm reading, is getting in as a full share member, which means that Gonzaga is getting football money as a basketball-only school. Which one says a lot about the power of Gonzaga's brand as a basketball school, but two means that the Pac-12 is in scramble mode. They're trying to save some face. And adding Gonzaga, which is a premier basketball program, does that a little bit. So I will give the Pac-12 credit. Adding Gonzaga as a basketball only member is a very good move. However, still, Fresno State, Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, Oregon State, Washington State, these schools said, hey, we're big time. We're going to make our own conference. We're going to be a big football conference. They bet on themselves to be able to add premier programs from across the G5 across the country, and they failed to do so. And so what's next for UNLV? First of all, what kind of media deal could the Pac-12 expect without being a nationwide conference? That's a big question. The Mountain West current deal is like $3.5–4 million per school, with Boise State getting an extra $1.5 million. I don't know that. I think with Washington State and Oregon State added, you could probably get that up to $10 million if UNLV and Utah State are added to the Pac-12. Which again, because Gloria Nevarez is playing hardball with the Pac-12 and with the Mountain West at the moment, professional UNR hater. I don't know. That's kind of a long name to call him, but I think he's right. I think we're going to see UNLV to the Pac-12 announced in the next couple of hours. So yeah, that's basically all the news we have at the moment. I will probably go live again tonight if needs be. But just to recap, as we come to the close of this, the Pac-12 got snubbed by Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, and USF. The Pac-12 doesn't have those schools and cannot create a nationwide conference anymore. Their options are only limited to the Mountain West schools basically now. I don't think the Pac-12 is going to add Sacramento State as a new FBS member. I'm just not seeing that happening. So the Pac-12 has a lot of egg on its face after failing to convince Memphis and Tulane and TV providers that they would be able to bring big enough revenue and market share. So the Pac-12 then pivoted and added Gonzaga as a full share member of the Pac-12, which good for Gonzaga. That's a lot of money that Gonzaga is going to have. In basketball, Gonzaga is as big of a brand as it comes. And so Gonzaga coming in as a full share member is basically going to get paid for everybody else's football programs, despite not having one. That's insane. Good for the Zags, man. I mean, it's going to be a great basketball conference. Having San Diego State and Gonzaga in the same basketball conference is marvelous. I love it. Yeah, you're right, Chris. It's a desperation move. You're totally right. However, I think it was the right move given the snub from the AAC. I think they had to save some face because I mean the Pac-6, man, these schools looked so dumb that they were not able to convince either TV providers or the AAC schools that they were worth the travel to join. And then also it makes the rest of the Mountain West look kind of good too. It's like you four left us for what? What are you leaving us for? So a couple options moving forward that we're going to be looking out for in the next few hours. Again, if something else happens, I'll jump on here and let you guys know. But a couple options are, one, you could see Utah State, Air Force, and UNLV being added to the Pac-12 in the next few hours. Because again, Gloria Navarro said, all right, let's crap or get off the pot, you know? So you could see those three schools being added with a significant, hopefully the exact same portion of a buyout from the Pac-12. You could see UNLV, Utah State, and Air Force added in the next few hours. In fact, I think that's going to happen. And we just hit 200 viewers, which is great. So thank you guys for tuning in. This will not be the only piece of content that I produce today. So we could see that in the next few hours. We could see the Mountain West and the Pac-12, although I do not think the Pac-12 wants to do this. You could try and see the Mountain West angling for a reverse merger where the Pac-12 and the Pac-6 schools that left end up merging with the Mountain West Conference. Again, I don't know that I see that happening because I just think that the Pac-12 really doesn't want the bottom of the Mountain West Conference. And so you could see that in the next few hours. And you could see the Pac-12 just kind of disbanding, that's not going to happen now that the Gonzaga joined. So that's not actually an option at all. So that's basically it for today. I will be live again if we get UNLV to the Pac-12. That news specifically will make me go live. Even if I have class, I'll just leave class and go live regardless. But very favorable outcome for the Rebels, very favorable outcome for Utah State. Whether it's a favorable outcome for the Mountain West Conference, that's still to be seen, but we will see it. And I do believe we will have answers today because of this deadline that the Mountain West has set. So keep your notifications on, keep doom scrolling Twitter like I am. And we will be back live if any more significant news comes out regarding specifically UNLV. If it's not UNLV related, because I'm a UNLV podcast, I probably won't get on, but you never know. So that's basically it, guys. Crazy times. The Pac-12 fell flat on its face, and that's great. Yeah, George, UNLV does have a ton of leverage now. We have way more leverage than we did. If Memphis, Tulane, and USF and UTSA say they added 4 schools from the AAC, UNLV would have been in a really tough spot because the Pac-12 does not want to go above 10 schools, I don't think, at this point. But UNLV is in a position of power now because what are your other options? You know, are you going to add New Mexico over UNLV? Probably not. Are you going to add Utah State over UNLV? Maybe you add them with UNLV, but you're not going to choose Utah State over UNLV. Reno's a big winner in this. You might see Reno to the Pac-12 now. I love having a rivalry, an in-state rivalry. I just hate that it has to be with the University of Reno. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna check one more time, make sure any more news hasn't come out. Um, I'm okay paying a full share to Gonzaga. I think that they bring enough in basketball, um, that I'm okay with Gonzaga getting a full share. Um, so all right, there's no big news as of right now. Um, so all right, we will go live again if UNLV gets announced. But I want to thank you guys for checking out the show. I will be on with some Fresno State people tonight. I don't know if it'll be posted tonight, but we're going to be talking probably conference realignment, and we'll definitely be talking about the UNLV game. I will have a dedicated um, uh, preview of UNLV versus Fresno State. It's a huge game this Saturday. It's probably the biggest game, honestly, with the stakes and everything going on. Every single game UNLV football plays right now is the biggest game, like in program history. So this Fresno game is a huge opportunity for Las Vegas to show out. So, all right, guys, talk to you soon. Appreciate you. Have lots of fun time and lots of love with the people that you love. And let's run.